So good day, everyone. Welcome to the Youth Education Development and Sports webinar series being delivered by Generation Amazing in conjunction with Josoor Institute and UCFB. My name is Simon Chadwick. I'm Professor of Eurasian Sport at EM Lyon Business School based in Paris and Shanghai. So thank you for being with us here today. It's the first in a series, what will become a monthly series, looking at issues relating to youth education, development and sport. Today, what we're going to do is specifically to set our discussions in the context of the pandemic. Obviously, for effectively most of us or all of us around the world, this has had a profound impact on every aspect of what we do. But I think it's having a particular impact upon sport in lots of different ways. And as I'm sure many of us know, we typically tend to think in terms of, will competitions take place? Will leagues be finished? What's going to happen to sponsorship deals? But I think there's a breadth and a depth to the impact of COVID-19 on sport that extends way beyond that. And so what we're going to do today, I think, is to look at one particular aspect around youth sport and the impact of COVID-19 upon youth sport. And we've got 5 really distinguished guests here today to talk with us about this. So the way in which we're going to run today is I'll begin by introducing each of our speakers, and they're going to say a little bit about who they are and what they do and why they have a particular interest in the subject of today's webinar. I do have I have a set of questions that I'll be asking. For people who've been in my webinars before, you know that I'm incredibly indisciplined. So I'm the world's worst midfielder. Really, when I'm supposed to be in midfield, I'm in the penalty area, I'm in defence, so I'm indisciplined. So although I have a set of written questions, we'll probably ask lots of other things as well. In doing that, I will take questions from the audience. So if you have a particular question to a particular speaker, or if you want to ask the speakers in general, then please can you post your questions in the chat forum. We're looking towards maybe 60 minutes. If depending upon how heated the debate becomes or how detailed the debate becomes, we may go on for longer than that, maybe 90 minutes. If we all decide that we really like each other, let's just move in together and we'll be here for the next 3 or 4 days. Let's see how it goes. But without further ado, without further prevarication on my part, can I firstly move to Amani and ask Amani, please, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and why you've come to us today to be part of the webinar?
Thank you so much, Simon. Thank you guys for having me with you. My name is Amani Al-Qalbi. I'm the founder of Aurora for Training and Development. It's a young but powerful little youth development organization in Jordan, which we established in 2017. Aurora's main objective is to raise social capital, so the productive value of relationships among youth in their societal networks. And our programs are all designed to focus on, and I think when you ask the reason for me wanting to be here today is because my own primary interest when it comes to youth development is really about self-determination in civic engagement for positive youth engagement and empowerment. When we look at the different motivations for giving, it gives us a lot of food for thought in terms of the mechanisms that we actually utilize as educators when we try to engage young boys and girls in all the initiatives that our entities, whether they're professional sports entities or development organizations, would like to see them taking more active roles, not just as participants, but as in valid voices for the change that we want to see. When it comes to self-determination, I think it doesn't matter which angle you come at it from, competence is at the core of that. So when we're talking about competence and skill sets, how much do we challenge our youth in leadership? How much do we give them the space to implement their own ideas? That's all down to education. So for that, I'm really excited to be with so many great speakers that come from an education background. And I'm looking forward to having a great discussion with you guys.
And I believe that you're actually in England and not in Jordan.
I didn't think I was going to.
You got stranded.
Yeah, I flew home when the lockdown happened, and I thought it was going to be a swift couple of weeks. Fast forward 3 months, and I'm in England.
This is something we share. I mean, I'm supposed to be in France, but I'm in England. I got stuck here as well. So, hey, now Nasser. So, if you could introduce yourself, Nasser, and tell us about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Professor Simon. My name is Nasser Al-Khouri. I'm the Programs Director with Generation Amazing. First of all, I would like to say, this is a very exciting, series of webinars that we recently launched, and this is obviously the first webinar that we're hosting. So I'm very excited, and I'm very pleased and happy and honored to be with the esteemed panelists, with all of you today, and obviously with you, Professor Simon, as well. So basically, Generation Amazing is a social human legacy project that started or spun off post the successful bid for Qatar for the World Cup 2022. And so the idea behind Generation Amazing is that we use football or soccer to sort of positively impact the lives of many disadvantaged youth around the region. So we started off with the MENA region, and in terms of building pitches for communities in need of football infrastructure around the Middle East and Asia. So we started, first of all, our first project was in Lebanon and Jordan, looking at some of the refugees in the region. Obviously, that was towards the early stages of the whole Syrian refugee crisis. And then we also expanded to other parts of Asia. So we kind of are currently, over the last 10 years, we've been able to reach 500,000 beneficiaries, youth, sort of from, across 10 countries. Some of the countries include, India, Pakistan, Nepal, the Philippines. Amongst, the Philippines is sort of a project that's kind of ongoing and going to be launched hopefully towards the end of this year. We also are expanding to Africa as well. So our first project in Africa is in Rwanda. It's part of, we're building a Generation Amazing Community Club as well, and sort of a partnership with the Ministry of Sports and Youth in Rwanda, as part of a sort of rehabilitation center that looks at taking kids off the street and sort of putting them in a rehab center. So we are kind of complementing that rehab center with the sports for development initiatives and programs that we offer. So that's sort of, Generation Amazing in a nutshell. I don't want to take too much of the time, but yeah, that's sort of what we do.
Okay, thank you, Nasser. You're in Doha, Nasser?
I am.
Yeah. Okay. So greetings to Doha. Michael.
Okay, thank you, Simon. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Kasich, Senior Education Specialist for a program called Educate a Child. It's a program of a foundation called Education Above All Foundation. We're based in Qatar as well. Educate a Child was established by Her Highness Sheikh Mosa bint Nasser in 2012 with a very specific mandate to ensure a quality primary education for out-of-school children. We do not, as EAC, we do not implement projects directly, but we work through national and international NGOs and US agencies. And since 2012, we've supported more than 70 projects, 40 different partners. We work with partners helping children, families, community schools to overcome the barriers to access to education. And we're currently supporting projects in 51 countries. Our target population is a little bit younger than some of my colleagues. We focus on primary, generally ages 6 to 14, because that's kind of a typical age for primary education globally. Although some of our programs do work with overage children up to age 18, who may have missed out on many years of schooling due to conflict, for example, in Syria, and have the desire to return to school. So they're sort of at the upper age range of that, up to 18, and most definitions of youth that overlaps with sort of the age group. Though our mandate is education, primary education more specifically, and I'm glad to hear there's a fellow educator in the form of Amani in the panel. we focus on primary education, but we know education and sport together have a very powerful relationship, individually and together. And we believe sport and recreational activities, including football, are an important part of quality education. So of the 70 projects we've supported to date, 30 of them have a sport or recreational activity intervention or component. And 10 of those are in partnership with UNHCR, the UN High Commission for Refugees. Many of our projects, several of our projects have a sport and recreation component aimed at helping children cope with trauma and stress. Others use a sports for development approach, and Nasser just talked about that, where we train youth as coaches for sports, but also prepare them as facilitators to work with children, perhaps other youth to educate or reinforce life skills, or to provide a forum for discussion about issues in the community. And because of the important relationship between education and sport, we are really excited to be a part of the conversation, and we look for the opportunity to engage with the panelists, but also people who are participating online. So thank you. Thanks, Simon.
Thank you, Michael. Michele, could you say a little bit about Josoor and what part you're playing and the contribution you're making to this field?
Thank you very much, Simon, and thank you very much, everyone, for the opportunity of this panel. And I'm also grateful to Nasser and his colleagues for this collaboration that I hope will continue in the coming months. I'm head of business development of Josoor Institute. And I would also like to thank Dr. Cindy Hebsgaard, our Director of Education, who hasn't been able to join us today, but who's been very important for me because I have joined Josoor just a few months ago, and so Cindy has been one of my mentors in my fairly vertical learning curve about Josoor. It's been a fun experience. Josoor, as some of you know, started in 2013. Essentially, it's a division of the Supreme Committee for the River and Legacy, specifically in charge of education, training, and research to help form human capital for the World Cup 2022 and beyond for the Qatar National Vision 2030. And we do that by means of structured diploma programs in sports management and events management, and by bespoke executive trainings and workforce trainings that we develop ad hoc in partnership with colleagues at Supreme Committee or with external partners. Since 2013, Josoor has been delivering educational and training and research in collaboration with over 4,000 participants in different capacity, and these participants are what we call the delegates, which is a mantra for us as a keyword, probably the most important word I have learned at Josoor as I joined. The delegates are the alumni, the students, the partners, all those who have been benefiting, but who have also helping us grow as an organization. And who are part of our family, essentially. While Josoor, specifically speaking, is in terms of age cluster, is not necessarily about the very, very youth or the very, very vulnerable. We certainly have to work strategically and also as a contingency in on engines of learning, for sure. Maybe we can talk about that later. We've had to turn most of our education offering into online nearly overnight, and literally overnight. And I believe all of you in your different capacity had to face the question whether shall we do something, or or we just wait for the crisis to stop. And that's very profound, because I think not everyone has understood or entirely appreciated that the COVID crisis is like a war crisis, and because a war crisis is a totally unprecedented crisis, it requires totally unprecedented solutions overnight that sometimes break, organizational taboos. Because if you want to do something, you have to skip steps, or you have to make sure that certain things happen no matter what, whatever it takes, and then maybe you have to clarify certain things afterwards. So you have to take risks, and this has been interesting for us. And also, with this session in mind, but also maybe with further conversations for the coming months, if community building is also the other engine to support the youth, even though Josoor is not specifically involved in grassroots development level initiatives, but we are a community builder because we build the community throughout our delegates who are professionals that can make a difference in their fields. So we believe we are contributing somehow a bit more indirectly than the colleagues on the panel, but certainly we feel that we can make a difference together with them. I'll be happy to share more considerations afterwards. And for full disclosure, I'm currently in Switzerland. I'll be back in Qatar in early August for the hotel quarantine, but at least I can be with my family right now. And actually, believe it or not, the Switzerland and Geneva in particular, which is one of the wealthiest cities on the planet, has been facing concrete challenges for delivering education in time of COVID. You would imagine these wealthy cities, overnight, forget it. And those who pay the consequences are always the most vulnerable. I'll stop here, Simon, and I'm happy to continue the conversation.
Okay, thank you, Michele. Thank you, Leo.
Hi everyone. So I'm Dr. Leo Watkins. I work for UCFB. I'm an academic. And the background is that UCFB recently partnered with Generation Amazing. So my main role is as an academic, and I'm based at the Wembley campus. So normally I'd actually be in Wembley Stadium. That's my main place of work. Obviously, I've not been able to be there for a few months now. And just a bit of background for UCFB. We're a higher education provider, and we primarily cater for young people who have the ambition to forge a career in either the football or the wider sports industry. So in terms of youth, the youth that I am engaged with most are, students of higher education. However, through the partnership with Generation Amazing, I was fortunate enough to be asked back in December to do a bit of research for Generation Amazing, and I was invited out to the Generation Amazing Youth Festival in Doha in December, which was a fascinating experience for me, and it was a really powerful event, I thought. So I've done a bit of research around that particular event, which I may talk about in a bit more detail later. But in terms of my involvement with youth sport, it's very much been a recent phenomenon for me as a result of the research I've done for Generation Amazing. So that's my background in a nutshell, Simon.
Okay, so thank you, Leo. So I guess just a little bit about myself and I guess why I'm here. So I originally was a school teacher, and Nasser and I have just discovered that we've both been students studying education at the same university. But subsequent to that, I worked for Josoor and for the Supreme Committee, and I've worked in education institutions for a long time. So I guess in many ways, young people and education and sport are core business for me. It's interesting. While we were preparing for this webinar, I'm just going to post something in the chat forum for you. We talked about a report that has been just been published by the United Nations, and I would draw your attention to just to the first sentence. So as you will see, for those of you who are accessing this is a document from the UN, and it's about protecting and mobilizing youth and COVID-19 responses. We felt as a group this was a really helpful background to today's webinar. But that first sentence there, prior to the onset of COVID-19, youth were 3 times likely to be 3 times more likely to be unemployed than adults. 126 million young workers lived in extreme and moderate poverty. And then when we begin to think about what's just happened to us and the health effects on the economic effects, the psychological effects, the effects around social cohesion, identity, isolation, you can see why today's webinar is particularly resonant. I'm also a dad. So that's my big confession for the day. I'm a dad. I have a teenage son, and I've spent a lot of time over the last 3-4 months with my teenage son saying, well, what happens? What happens next? In terms of your education, in terms of studying, in terms of jobs, even in terms of getting a part-time summer job, what happens? And my son went out yesterday for the first time in 14 weeks. He actually went outside the house. So this is an amazing, these are amazing, incredible times that are posing issues for all of us. So, I'm living this, and moving back across to you, Amani, I guess you're living it too. And I just wanted to know from your perspective, your organization, where you are in the world, the things that interest you, the work that you do, what are the particular challenges now facing young people in this COVID-19 era, do you think?
I'm going to talk mainly from a sports perspective, because it's where we specialize in. And I think in a sports perspective, so many of our development efforts are always highlighting the fact that playing sport is much more than play, that it is a central activity for the development, whether it's mentally, socially, for any youth participating in sports activities. And I think the biggest challenge over the last few months, and I think anybody working in sport for development, is now is the time to really show our commitment in our commitment and our benefit, our value in the non-physical presence of sport. So how do we continue the sports conversation going while we are not engaging in sports activities? How do we keep sports people in touch with each other? How do we keep an essence of communication going with their clubs, with their communities, with their fellow players? That's been one of the main challenges that we've experienced from this side. But I think in terms of that challenge and the risk that it poses to us, it's a case of, from my social perspective, the biggest risk to me is that we don't use this opportunity and go back to doing things the way that we used to do it, to not have used this opportunity to really reassess what our priorities are in terms of sports activities. And those kinds of things need to be looked at from an education perspective, because the strategy or the systematic thinking that we approach mainstream education with, unfortunately, even though doctors and other specialists will tell you that so much of their projects are sports orientated, we don't have the same kind of strategic thinking towards non-formal education. And those sports is a central component of non-formal education. It's still very intermittent, it's still very ad hoc, it's still very local. So I think the challenge for us now is, how do we make sure that when we come back, we don't make the same mistakes that we all struggle with.
Okay, thank you, Nasser, and I guess obviously you're in Doha, a somewhat different environment to Amani and from me. So from sitting in Doha and looking at young people, what do you perceive the issues, challenges, the problems that have arisen during this period?
I mean, I think, Amani pretty much summed it up very nicely. But I think, one of the things that we should also not forget and consider as well is besides the physical health, there's also the mental health. So, I think a lot of times physical and mental health are like inheritedly tied together. And obviously with the situation with a lot of kids at home and, the disruption with school and their social lives, I know, for example, the other day, one of my colleagues was telling me that, her niece all of a sudden, is no longer going to see her friends from nursery because she's moving to first grade next year. And it's just, all of these things and sort of this disruption with schools and youth not being able to interact and physically, you know, be together, is causing a lot of challenges. But I think, you know, what we've been able to do in terms of, you know, to adapt and be sort of agile is deliver some of these sessions and some of our programs online, and try to keep, you know, as much as possible, you know, people active, people healthy, people sort of, you know, trying to sort of, you know, encourage people to keep up with their, you know, well-being as well. So, you know, we had really nice GA live sessions on social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook, where we had, you know, some of the FIFA legends and some of the Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy ambassadors as well, like Cafu and Samuel Eto'o and some of the other players, to give, you know, also for them to give tips to the youth and for them to sort of encourage young people, to give them, you know, some sort of motivation and encouragement as well. So I think from these, you know, aspects, I think we've been able to adapt really nicely, and I think there's also a lot of focus now shifted into the virtual world, or sort of the distant learning, where a lot of, you know, like I think you know, Michele was saying earlier, you know, some of the wealthiest cities like Geneva, for example, you know, did not have these you know, technologies and innovation and you know, delivering education, but now I feel like with the pandemic, it's sort of pushed us towards accelerating this this path and this route, and to be able to reach people no matter where and how far they are. So I think, you know, also from Generation Amazing's online engagement over the last couple, you know, 2 months or however long we started, I think it's been interesting to see the numbers as well. So we've been able to have, you know, just by having a hashtag that we kind of started, you know, the campaign with and promoted on social media, that hashtag alone reached 18.5 million people. So that's, you know, on social media, so Instagram and Facebook and Twitter as well. So I think, you know, these are really interesting learning experiences, and I think, you know, people now are seeing sort of the benefit and the opportunities as well that, you know, rely on virtual and distant learning as well.
Okay, thank you, Michael. In your world, how do you see this?
Sure. Maybe I can address that in sort of maybe two parts. One sort of in general terms, keeping in mind sort of the target audience of Educated Child is at the primary level. Maybe some of the higher end of the targets would be considered youth as well. So maybe, but we do use youth to implement. We involve them in project implementation, and I think we can. Well, there's an opportunity to talk about that a little bit later, which I think is really interesting. Sort of in general terms, though, the impact. You know, there's a lot of things we know already, right? Experience has shown that epidemics such as COVID-19 tend to disproportionately impact people who live in extreme poverty, mostly in sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. We know that young people suffer disproportionately from conflict, poverty, and now from the severe effects of COVID-19. We also know that youth already, under normal circumstances before COVID-19, experienced challenges in accessing healthcare, education, other social services, and employment, as some of the things that you alluded to earlier, Simon. So as one would expect, that all of the issues that affected youth prior have been exacerbated by the current situation. According to an April 2020 report to the UN Security Council, even before COVID-19, 1 in 5 people were already shut out of education, training, or employment, and 1 in 4 faced violence or conflict. And in particular, obviously, there's certain marginalized groups that fare worse: young migrants and refugees, youth living in rural areas, adolescent girls and young women, young persons with disabilities and so on, ethnic minorities and so forth. So as we said, the young people are affected in several ways: education, or loss of access to education has been mentioned already. According to UN report this year, at one point in 191 countries have implemented nationwide or localized school closures, resulting in 91% of enrolled students, or the equivalent of 1.5 billion students not being able to attend school. On top of that, there's about 258 million children and youth who are out of school, according to the UNESCO, for the school year ending in 2018. And this includes the 59 million children in primary school or primary school age, 62 million children or adolescents of lower secondary age, and 138 million of upper secondary age. And these are on top of that 1.5. These are children who, even before COVID-19, didn't have any access. So in terms of education, the impact is big. We know the health impacts and the stress related to that. A couple of other ILO statistics from this year, prior to the onset of COVID-19, youth aged 15 to 24 were already 3 times more likely to be unemployed compared to adults. I think that's similar to what Simon said. 126 million young workers living in extreme and moderate poverty. Young workers are more likely to be in precarious employment situations. 70% are informally employed. And so, and just again, what's been alluded to is just the stress, the loss of the routine, the sense of normalcy, adjusting to a new normal are things that cause stress. And some of the things that we know, or some of the measures put in place in terms of restrictions on movement, the need for physical distancing mean there are fewer opportunities to meet friends, meet in schoolmates, meet around sports and socialize. So again, leading to more stress. Just in short, what we would expect then, that all issues that affect youth prior to the pandemic are certainly exacerbated by COVID-19 and its impacts. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you. Michele?
Thank you, Simon.
So we're talking particular issues, threats, risks, challenges faced by young people at this time.
Well, in terms of, I will digress a little bit from the very Josoor Institute, which, as I mentioned, has been offering its educational activities quite seamlessly, I have to say, in partnership with Bocconi and other partners so far. So even though we were very concerned with the quality of the outcome, we were not, we were not like panicking, if I may, about the danger of not being able to deliver. So we had a solid team and resources in place. The students, the delegates are fortunately, not from disadvantaged groups. So that went well, and I'll be happy to maybe to give a bit more details about that. In terms of the impact, but also in terms of opportunities going forward. Obviously, distance learning is an opportunity. As far as Josoor is concerned, what we are exploring at the moment is essentially an online diploma, probably in the form of a more general part, like a massive online open course certificate, followed by a more structured diploma program, one in sports management, one in events management. But long story short, our audience, our beneficiaries, are hopefully going to be many more people across the MENA region. So we are covering Qatar because it is our country, and that's where our goal is. But the vision of Josoor goes beyond that, and so we believe that by well-targeted campaigns, we will be able to attract the interest of potential students for our education activities and trainings. Now, in terms of the impact on the youth, we are facing a digital divide. This is not new, and the digital divide is still there. Up to Geneva. In Geneva, you have, again, I'm using Geneva anecdotally, but you can look at data. It is pretty much the same everywhere. Social inclusion is a challenge, especially for the most disadvantaged. So if you are disadvantaged, when there is a problem, the impact on you and your family is relatively much worse than the impact on another family. And again, we all have anecdotes. So my kids who are from a family that is okay, they have been, they have been getting a bit bored, but still they have been doing all sorts of activities in parallel. However, interestingly, the quality of the schooling that they were getting from their secondary school in Geneva, to be honest with you, was not impressive at all. And it was primarily a function of the specific teachers, of the single teacher, and even more important, of the principal of the school. So there is a chain that goes from the kid, the parent, the teacher, the principal, and higher up in the policy maker's office. That's very important, because if, back to the war situation, if there is a lack of vision and lack of understanding that this is an emergency, there is a lack of quality and lack of immediate intervention that trickles down negatively, impacting the most vulnerable people everywhere. So the famous, if we think about 1.5 billion people with B who are now affected, I am sure that within those 1.5 billion, there are people who have been wasting their time for months and months. And there are studies everywhere. I can think of, for example, of a study about, where the US is on the radar these days. So there is a study about the holidays in the US. And apparently kids from disadvantaged groups, when they take holidays in the summer, they go back to school and their level is much lower in terms of capacity. The kids from families who are okay, they go through their holidays, they do whatever, they read, they have fun, they have ice cream, and then they go back to school, and their level is the same, even if they haven't done any homework. So that, I think, is very important to emphasize for us the moment we look at youth challenges and what the engines of learning are, because the engines of learning have partly to do, thankfully, with new technology and the remote delivery, which is great. So this is really an opportunity. But at the same time, engines of learning, and I'm sure also Leo and the others can second that, have to do with the capacity of everyone to stick to normal. So to make sure that things are disrupted, but at the same time, we are still living on the same planet and things have to be delivered, period. So there is a lot to learn from all these efforts and forced innovation and acceleration we've been all going through. But at the same time, if we are not able, like in wartime, to make sure that the basic services are in place, we have a problem.
Thank you, Michele. I think probably we'd say here to that, and there are lots of people around the world in different countries that would agree with what you said. I mean, Leo, if I could just move it slightly in one direction. Obviously, you and I are both together in the United Kingdom at the moment, and if we're thinking about not just children and young people, but people generally, we know that Black and minority ethnic individuals are being disproportionately affected by COVID-19. I mean, could you tell us a little bit, are you in a position to tell us a little bit more about that, just in generality, about almost like the discriminatory effects of the virus?
Well, I mean, that's
a bit of a curveball question, I know, but it's just to provide a view from Britain as to how COVID-19 is affecting certain communities more adversely than others.
Well, yeah, I think it's a good example of the fact that this virus it essentially does it does discriminate. It does target those who are most vulnerable, which I think everyone's talked about. I mean, in terms of how we've sort of had to deal with that as a educational provider. I can't necessarily speak of specific groups within our student cohort, but we've had to make provisions, because it's one thing to say that we're going to deliver these things digitally and keep things going, which is what Michele was referring to. We've managed to do that. But it's another thing to say, do the people on the other end of that, the students, the recipients, do they have the the capability, the digital literacy, you know, even the right workspace to actually, you know, make use of that digital delivery. And for us, you know, as a university, you know, the answer is, well, not everyone does. We've had to, you know, put in place, you know, policies, you know, adapt to this policy to allow for, you know, flexibility and to realise that personal circumstances are going to, you know, have a big effect on, you know, people's ability to engage digitally. So this is, you know, this is something we've been sort of trying to grapple with as an educational institution. I know it's not, I haven't directly answered the question on.
It's okay. I threw you a difficult ball to catch, right. So I appreciate that. I mean, I found that a really interesting observation for you to make, because I mean, if I was just to say at this point on behalf of everyone, I think, you know, we've all done incredibly well. We've all worked really, really hard, and we've tried to be as adaptable as we can. We've tried to do the best that we can. I know in my field, I've tried to give my students the best that I possibly could under the circumstances, but we haven't always got it right. And obviously, as we move forward from here, there is something about learning lessons. I mean, one of the things that's preoccupied me is, I'm sorry to say this, but I'm a bit of an old man nowadays. And so to suddenly have to change my teaching style, to change my teaching materials, to change the way that I teach within 24 hours, I was uncomfortable with that. So one of the things I actually did, I talked to my son and his friends and said, okay, you Instagram child, how do I teach? How do I deliver? And I would hope that certainly my approach to delivery has become more robust, more relevant, more resilient in response to what has happened. But it is, you know, kind of making that digital transition has you would think it would be easy, but it hasn't necessarily always been easy. Can I just at that point kind of throw up a question? Throw open a question generally to the panel, and that's really the first two questions raises the issue of, or the first question raises the issue of, you know, do any of you have any insights into or any feedback on, any research about how are young people actually feeling right now? What kinds of things are they saying? What kinds of fears are they expressing? How do they see the future? Do any of you have data to this? Anybody have access to any insights? Amani?
It was one of my, it's not something that we've looked into in terms of actual research, but one of my first responses, for example, on Sunday, we're launching a virtual social responsibility school. This school focuses on educating young professional players on the foundations of sport for development and understanding the context of these development projects that they are often invited to be a part of. I can't say that we've done research in terms of how they're feeling, but I can definitely say that this program was a response to the fact that we weren't having enough conversations in our emergency response to COVID about emotional intelligence, about philanthropy, about how they're feeling in terms of their empathy, their compassion, this newfound need for social contact for a very digital orientated generation who suddenly now are missing being that level of togetherness. So it's definitely something that I think we all need to focus on a lot more, especially when you're talking about youth and the psychosocial effect that it's having on them. But that's all I have to say on it.
Okay, Nasser. I mean, obviously, Qatari youth live a distinctive life very often, normally compared to, for example, you know, in Manchester where I've recently worked. So from your perspective, do you know anything about what young people are saying in Qatar and how they see things?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really touched upon this topic specifically in terms of research or data. But I think, you know, overall, the challenges are the same for any youth. You know, obviously, everybody comes from different backgrounds and there's different levels of disadvantage at the end of the day. But, you know, I know for a fact that a lot of youth also in Qatar faced a lot of issues because, you know, life generally just was disruptive. I mean, it just happened overnight, you know, all of a sudden. And I think like I'm saying, you know, from a social, you know, social emotional like intelligence, you know, and a sort of a mental health perspective, I'm sure, you know, there's a lot of different things that, you know, came through this you know, pandemic that, you know, kids are suffering from. And it would be something interesting, actually. Maybe we can look into it with Dr. Leo, and maybe we could do some research and look into numbers. I think this is a really interesting topic that should be researched, definitely.
Sorry, Michaela, go on.
No, just building on what Nasser and Amani said. I was preparing for the session and found one of these studies about the impact of the lockdown on kids in a large Italian city. I'm from Italy originally, but I think some of these findings are pretty relevant everywhere. Yeah. So they asked over 3,000 families with kids under 18 years old about any problem, anything they spotted during the lockdown in their kids. And so what they found is 65% of kids under 6 years old and 71% of kids under 18 years old exhibit problems of irritability, sleep disorders, anxiety, and separation anxiety. So it's again, I think this is interesting also as we look at sports as an engine back to the idea of sports as an engine of learning, as an engine of helping address mental health challenge, and it doesn't have to be, you know, terrible mental health problems, but like stress, for example. Yeah. And in the end of the question is what are specific projects, what are specific interventions that could be done even on a very spot basis. Sometimes we think that we need, you know, the gigantic initiative, the gigantic project. Sometimes it's a matter of nudging people to do certain things differently. And I don't even want to enter the addiction to devices and games, etc. But I know, for example, that kids who are in sports, if they are too much on video games, like Fortnite, these video games that never end, they sleep less and they perform less on the court. As simple as that. So, but again, back to COVID and back to the challenge of inclusion, which will probably deserve an entirely separate conversation. But I believe that there has been an impact. It's been a negative impact, but there is people are quite resilient the moment they can go back to normal. So I think the new normal, thank God, will be maybe more normal than we imagine. And as long as we are able to put in place some concrete solutions, and that again has to do with the families, with the teachers, with the trainers, and ultimately with the policymakers who will be in charge of providing the right framework to all these projects through incentives, etc. And last point, thinking of disadvantaged people. What's interesting of disadvantaged people is that no matter what we think, they are rational people, as we all are. If you look at the work of the recent Nobel laureates, Esther Duflo and Abhijit Banerjee, at the end of the day, they try to understand how people behave against incentives and proposals and ideas. And what's really fascinating is that people are very smart. So that's the opportunity, I think. As disadvantaged as people might be, the moment you manage to help them with basic things, you help them think better, you help them think freely, and so to make choices. And that's why grassroots level initiatives like, in our case, Generation Amazing, so whomever, or Education for All, or Aurora, so in different ways, on a different scale, in different contexts. I mean, we don't want to generalize everything, but they are good examples of practical things that can be done. And then what's interesting is that we can collect data and we can see how things work. And if they work well, that's great. Let's scale up. And if they didn't work that well, let's learn from that and maybe give a different twist and a different angle. This is very fascinating, no matter really challenging.
I find it interesting that we're all of us unaware of immediate access to data, immediate data about young people and what they're thinking, what they're feeling, how they're behaving. And so I think in terms of a research opportunity, it is very interesting, but it's only when we start to get into a conversation like this. Michaela, you mentioned sleep. So I've just posted something in the sidebar about sleep. And I know for me personally, my sleeping pattern is strange. It has been strange for weeks now. And you know, I'm old enough and wise enough and resilient enough to know how to cope with this. But if I was a 10-year-old boy or a kind of 14-year-old girl,
it's
might
even
be
worse.
Yeah. So Leo, Michael, could I ask you got any sense, Michael, Leo, of what young people are saying, what they're thinking, feeling during this time?
Sure. I mean, and let me maybe just take this personal. I mean, we don't do research. We know in general what's happening. We know, for example, girls and women are particularly bearing the brunt of this. We haven't, I don't think, mentioned that. The lockdowns and the socioeconomic crisis have brought about dramatic increases in domestic violence, including for girls and adolescent girls. Rates of child marriage have increased. And child marriage is a coping strategy for families under sort of economic distress. So we know there is evidence out there of what's going on. But let me take it personal. And I have 4 children. One is studying at university level in the US. One is studying at university level in the UK, and 2 are with us here in Doha. They also had to adjust to a very different, Simon, like you said, in terms of your teaching approaches, they had to get used to something very different as well. And I can notice amongst the 4 children, very different ways. Some, I think, thrived a little bit better. Others, I think some of my other children struggled with that. But so they were getting used to it. We did not have, or they had computers. But we ended up buying 2 new computers for the 2 young kids here. Now, we were fortunate to be able in a position to do that, but that's not the situation for everyone. The youngest boy finished grade 12. Worldwide, the IB exams were canceled, which in his particular case, I think is a blessing, the way they admit students in the UK, but nonetheless, things are different. And when the 2 older boys graduated together a couple of years ago, we had family from Kenya, family from the UK, coming to celebrate this momentous occasion of graduating from high school. And we didn't have that at all. And in fact, the restrictions, we weren't able even to go out and celebrate at a restaurant. So, I mean, that's probably minor in comparison to what others are experiencing. But again, it goes back to that sense of normalcy and routine, and that loss of that, and then the milestones, and as well as the sleep patterns as well. So I know it, you know, not from sort of research, but certainly from my own experience with 4 children.
Leo?
I mean, you know, a lot of the conversation we're having is about obviously how this has affected people, and you know, the things this has taken away from people's lives, and you know, a sense of, you know, being deprived of many things. I think interestingly, you know, there's another side to this as well, which, you know, I can talk about a little bit from some of my experiences engaging with students during the past few months, and that's when you're you know, restricted to, you know, to this digital mode of, you know, communication, of delivery, that, you know, actually sometimes you need to be careful you don't actually overwhelm students, young people, because, you know, it can actually be an information overload sometimes. And, you know, there's a few students I spoke to when we were sort of making this transition, and they gave a sense of, you know, well, hold on here, you know, there's so much information being kind of directed towards me, and it's a lot to, you know, to absorb, and that can create, you know, its own problems. That's just maybe a kind of slightly different perspective on to add as well.
Yeah, I mean, if I could respond to that in two ways. I was faced with a choice of needing to change my module, and so I thought, do I just take it and put it online, or do I do something completely different? So I actually used the power of technology and I flipped it. And rather than see this as an inconvenience or a major obstacle, I thought, what will the technology allow me to do that I can't normally do? So, for instance, tomorrow I'm running a session for master's students on India, and I've got five professionals from the Indian sports industry who are going to be part of my class. Now, normally I can't do this. I can't fly them all in from India and put them in a hotel and, you know, take them out to do. I can't do that. I don't have the budget to do that. But they just 20 minutes. You know, tell us who you are, what you do. So it's releasing the power of the technology. So rather than seeing it as a problem, I see it as a real opportunity. But I think the other one, I agree with you 100%, Leo. And I think this is not just in a teaching context, but more generally. And that is, there are so many webinars, there are so many websites, there are so many Twitter accounts, there are so many Instagram accounts, and I've actually said to the students, I'm no longer an academic or a lecturer. I'm a curator. And I like this. I like this notion of being a curator, and I think for people like us at times like this, we have to curate. And what we're doing is we're helping people with their lives. We're filtering out some of these multiple choices that they have, and I think curation is an important concept. So thank you for that. I mean, just to move it forwards a little further towards conclusion. So we know COVID-19. We know that there are particular effects on young people. We know sometimes there are discriminatory or disproportionate effects on certain groups. At the same time, there are things that unite us all, like information overload. So my next question, and I'll come back to you, Amani, is moving forward from here. And you talked a little earlier about not making the same mistakes as in the past.
Yeah.
But moving forward from here, I guess, because it's you and you said that, so two parts to the question is, what mistakes shouldn't we be making? What should we be doing? And the second part of the question to you is when we're thinking about young people and we're thinking about helping them to emerge from this very difficult period, what do you think as a sporting community we have to be doing?
Sure. I'll start by adding a note on just the previous feedback that we've had in terms of wellness and mental well-being in terms of how we understand what we're going through. And I think this conversation is really based about our understanding of what's happening right now and mechanisms for moving beyond it. It is a really difficult and confusing time, but at the same time, I do see it as a very rare window of opportunity where we are all, whether you're looking at it from a mental well-being perspective or from a youth development perspective, we're all sharing the same experience, and that doesn't happen very much in a lifetime where we can actually have that common topic at the moment, and you're not trying to teach someone to understand how someone feels because you're going through the same experience, whether it's in Brussels or in Geneva or in India or wherever you are. For us to really try and address some of the issues specifically within the sports environment, I think that the lack of collaboration, non-competitive collaboration between sports entities is something that's really surprising considering how much we all work on the same objectives. So the one thing that I've noticed in our experience working in Jordan and with various partners outside Jordan is that there is no real line of collaboration between professional sports entities and development organizations that use sport for development. So there you would find that kids that enter into the world of sport for development have to really end up doing 5-6 different initiatives that are working on the same topic but have no relationship with each other. Moving forward with that, it's also the alignment between those sports entities and secondary schools. You'll find that most of the programs that sports entities run with secondary schools, whether they're public or private, are usually training of trainers. They're usually short-lived workshops, festivals. And I often feel that in the way that we do things, though I can see how enjoyable they are, we really miss out on an opportunity to create those kind of relationships to stick, conversations that don't happen in a day or two, but need a little bit more time. So I would like to see us doing less, but more in terms of quality, in terms of the time that we spend on participants, in terms of the people that we introduce them to. I'd like to focus, because we're not allowed to anymore, less on getting 500 people on the pitch for a festival and more on getting 10 to really create a friendship that will serve them in the public and private sector in 10 years, that will actually result in inclusive decision making between this kid from a public school and that kid from a private school. If we can just, us as sports leaders, know that in this digital shift, we need to actually invest time in more quality relationships for our participants, I think it would serve us very well moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Nasser?
Yeah, I think those are excellent points, and I really believe in again, leveraging technology, leveraging the different platforms like the one we're on now to sort of again do more with less, like Amani said. And I think also doing more with less is not just from a capacity building perspective, but I think we should also and I think everybody in the world right now is facing different budgetary restrictions as well. So I think a lot of even our plans as Generation Amazing and our programs for the next coming months and next year as well. I think we are now looking at because we are suffering some budget restrictions, we are reconsidering how we're delivering programs as well. So I think we are also sort of customizing and trying to do again more with less. And I think that's the attitude, and I think that's the I think that's the attitude that we should all adopt at this point and work together and try to do again more with less. And like Amani mentioned, I think it's not about numbers at the end of the day. I think engaging people online through a short 20-minute session, even just that alone, like having a weekly sessions and from a GA perspective, I think what we've been doing over the last couple of weeks as well is creating a sense of routine for a lot of people that are sort of at home, because again, there has been the level of consistency and sort of the everything sort of changed all of a sudden. So I think having a 4 p.m. chat with a star or an ambassador or a FIFA legend, let's say, or on a weekly basis, so it kind of created that sense of routine for a lot of people that otherwise do not have sort of a routine. So I think from that perspective, that was a really interesting learning curve for us. And I think generally that's sort of the transition and the approach that we're going to be taking, trying to use and utilizing technology and sort of innovation and delivering programming as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Thank you. Michael, what next?
Yes, thank you, Simon. Yeah, I think Educated Child works with, as we mentioned, some NGOs and UN agencies. And they have a lot of experience in sort of two areas. And it's been mentioned already, the importance of sport or recreation, physical activity in terms of psychosocial health, and also sort of a sports for development approach, which has been mentioned already. One of the examples is a partnership we have with UNICEF inside Syria. They're distributing sports and other recreational equipment. They're training teachers and school counselors to deal with trauma and stress caused by many years of the protracted conflict. The recreational activities are embedded in a wider psychosocial support program, which is also embedded in a much larger education program, and in fact, a non-formal education program. Some of those activities have been able to continue because UNICEF has been using what they call self-learning materials, which for older children allows them to study independently or with an older adult or youth, someone who may have experience in education already. So they, and in fact, what's happening, the children are either meeting in small groups if it's safe and can be done, or working with older siblings to carry on with that. Now, of course, the benefits is when you're bringing more people together and benefiting, but until the conditions allow for that, then it's not going to be realistic. UNRWA, the agency responsible for supporting Palestinian refugees, had a similar intervention. They developed, prepared a kit of sports and recreational materials. They trained teachers and psychosocial counselors to work with children to deal with stress and trauma in Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan. So there's lots of experience out there. Again, it's more difficult under the circumstances, and what we've seen with some of our partners on the ground, they've had to suspend those activities, unfortunately. And then sort of the sports for development approach, we've got some great partners that have a lot of experience in the sports for development approach. As we mentioned earlier, it's not only prepares youth to be coaches, but also helps them become facilitators to address issues of stress or other issues, health issues, other social issues in the community. So a British council, an EAC partner in Pakistan, they build the capacity of young teachers in this way. We were fortunate enough, we talk about partnerships, that some of the funding for that those activities came from Supreme Committee for Legacy and Delivery for Qatar 2022. So we're glad about the funding and some of the technical assistance that they provided for that. So we've got a lot of project partners who have experience in these sorts of issues, and it's going to be critical when conditions allow to tap this resource, to tap this experience so that it can be applied, so that the children can return to school, they can return to a sense of normalcy, be supported by things like sports and recreational activity, and do that as quickly as we can, because we have a lot of global experience, not just us, but other organizations as well. Thank you, Simon. I think you're on mute, Simon.
Michele, what happens next?
Thank you. What's happened next? Just quickly building on the last thing that Michael said, we had a session about future of education actually in April, and one of the speakers, Diana Elazar, who is from Minerva Project, an innovative college project, and she's from Lebanon. And interestingly, she said, when it comes to digital divide, those kids who are in countries with turmoil, and she mentioned Lebanon, but she also mentioned Hong Kong, for example, for whatever reason, forcefully, they have to become more quicker at utilizing digital tools and online resources. So all the projects that Michael mentioned can only support these people who are already, even though obviously they are under threat, they are weakened by the context in which they live, but at the same time, back to what we were saying about resilience, they are ready to step up their resiliency through strategic initiatives. As far as Josoor is concerned, I think that my last point, and which I think for us is both a challenge and an opportunity going forward, is the language divide. So we have realized that we could do more in Arabic. It actually happens that quite often digital divide is also associated with language divide. So people who speak English well are usually a bit more comfortable with technology than people who don't speak English well enough. And so we think that the opportunity for us, even though, as I was saying before, the age of our audience is a bit higher than the age of the audience of the colleagues on the panel, still, we think there is an opportunity to help professionals and practitioners in the sports and events industries across the region by means of better tailor-made offering in Arabic. And then last point, I think there is a language divide in terms of sports because as long as we do not go back to the physical normal, all these interesting solutions we have developed are going to help a lot. But at the end of the day, the back to physical normal will be up to the extent to which the health crisis will be contained and how much time that will take. And that is up to the governments. So different governments are acting in different ways, and hopefully this is going to be over very soon. But at the same time, the question is open as to whether this is really going to be over. And so with that in mind, I think we need to make sure that we do not lose focus on the fact that we are still in the midst of an emergency, and that because it's an emergency, there are unprecedented solutions that have to be put in place.
I do have a personal question that I would like to ask, but I'm going to defer to Mohammed in just a second. So before I defer to Mohammed, Leo, you got a view on what happens next?
Well, I guess from my perspective, I'd probably go back to one of the discussion points we had a little while ago, which was around research and, taking this as an opportunity to research how people are being affected by this, so we can learn more about the impact and then how we might address it. But also, the fact that, as we've said, this isn't something that is necessarily going to end anytime soon. So, maybe research about can we still evidence positive sport for development outcomes, within the restrictions that we face. Is that possible? Can we engage people in sport or in physical activity? Sport development. Is sport development just going to stop? How do we continue it, and how can we evidence positive outcomes? That's probably the main focus that I would be looking towards.
Okay. So I'm going to go across to what I think are actually, one of them is a really, really good question. It's from Mohammed Al-Tamimi. First question is, how can we advance and maintain the healthy level of ourselves and our loved ones to recover from this situation? So tips for recovering, tips for staying healthy, tips for recovering. Any views? Michele?
Probably as simple as trying to make sure that you have a routine in your days. You wake up more or less at the same time, you wash, you dress up, you go out, you come back, and you do normal things. That's so important not to get into stress. I mean, we're all stressed in different ways, and sometimes routine is very, very helpful.
I mean, from my perspective, Mohammed, I am fortunate in that I live in a house with a garden. I don't think I've been as fit as this for a long time, and when the pandemic first started, the lockdown first started, I thought if you sit all day every day for 3 months, the muscle wastage will be incredible. So I actually started to exercise just to remain supple and flexible and to remain active, and it kind of went on from there. And now, I'm just fit. So that's how I dealt with it, is by taking exercise every single day in my garden.
Yeah, lucky you.
I know. Hey, I do realize I'm a white, middle-class, middle-aged North European male, and I do have advantages that some people in the world don't have. But so let's come to the second. Let
me just second both of those real quickly. I think those are really key. Maintaining the routine. I do the same, just making sure that I'm in my my work mode, working from home, getting up and doing things the same way. But the physical activity, I make sure I get out every day. There's a lot of restrictions here in Qatar, which is wonderful, but we are able to go outside. Need to wear a mask, but we are able to go outside, so I make sure I do that every day. And likewise, I try to get physical activity. There's things online as well for those at it. So those are really the sort of the basics of self-care. Outside of even the current context.
And also maybe one last quick point for especially for teachers and trainers, not only structured activities, but also, for example, keeping your line open for your students and kids. Doesn't matter what happens during that hour, but for kids to know that the teacher is there for an hour, even just to say hi or for saying something or for a joke, it doesn't matter. It makes kids feel a sense of proximity that for now they still don't have, or they still don't have entirely. I mean, they cannot hug their teammates on the field, they cannot high five, they cannot tackle the friend during the match, and that's tough. That's incredibly tough.
Amani, Leo, Nasser?
Yeah, I would say, you know, the routine part as well, you know, like I mentioned earlier, I think there's a lot of time, you know, a lot of times like physical activity requires a push, you know. For some people, maybe it comes naturally. For a lot of people, they need to be motivated, or they need to be pushed to exercise or to work out. So I think that's something interesting that we've been able to, you know, deliver these short 20-30-minute sessions for families, you know, for parents to interact with their kids at home. For kids to do alone, you know, so it kind of creates that, you know, also for the family that are, you know, sitting at home for the last 3 months with kids and stuff. I think it created like another sense of, you know, just an activity where the family can come together and just like forget about, you know, what's the pandemic and all the situation, the challenges that they're facing, and just for 20 minutes take a break even. You know, for me personally, you know, I've been doing meditation online. So there's a yoga instructor based in Doha. His name is Vishnu. He's probably the best yoga instructor ever. And he started, you know, doing these live sessions again every day at 7:30. You go on Instagram, you join his live session, 20-25 minutes, meditate, you know, just a quick you know, break from everything that's going around and everything that's going on. So I think that daily routine, you know, break, and I think these, again, leveraging online platforms and social media and you know, to sort of put these breaks in our calendars because of the, you know, this pandemic. I think that's really interesting, and I think for Generation Amazing, you know, this is a field that we didn't, you know, we were never delivering online, and the idea now is that we want to continue to do this, but continue even to do more programs online, and for, again, for people that it also provides an opportunity for a lot of people to access your programs and for people to have access as well. So accessibility has always been a challenge. So the idea is that, you know, even Generation Amazing post the pandemic is going to continue to deliver these sessions, and they're going to continue to be free and open for anybody that wants to join.
Okay, Leo, Amani, you have anything further to add?
Yeah, I mean, just quickly, as a parent, I can certainly speak of the importance of exercise, because up until recently, I had a nice routine where we were going out every day with our 2 children on fairly long walks. You know, had the freedom to do that, fortunately. And recent circumstances, we haven't actually been able to do that as much. And I've really noticed a difference in the behaviour of my children. So, you know, whilst they're obviously this is being partly by, you know, not getting the same level of schooling, you know, really noticed that you know, the negative effect of not getting exercise. And for me personally, it's fine. I'm similar to Simon. I can really, I'm free to kind of go and do my exercise and keep fit. But I think when it comes to young children, it's really important that they're given some direction to have that level of physical activity for their well-being. Huge.
Amani, you want to add anything to what's been said?
Yeah, sure. I think I'm one of those people that annoys everybody else with always asking people to be more positive. But it's only in the last few months that I've actually learned the difference between being positive and being optimistic, and I'm correcting that in myself. So I think one of the important things for recovery is to acknowledge that this is a royally difficult situation, but also to know that it will, like all the other situations that we've been through as mankind, will pass, and we will be okay. I think we've all had some very special time, if not around the people that we want to be with, but within ourselves in terms of better understanding how we think about things and how we feel about things. And I think that's in itself going to really help us recover into a better version of what we want to be and what we want to see around us. So I hope that will be a positive thing that we can harness.
So I'm going to try and bring it all in, and I'm going to try and ask my question as well. And unfortunately, Nasser, you said something there about going online and seeing your guy with doing his yoga. We also have Sam B, who's posted a question as well about role models. What I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about Marcus Rashford. Some of you may be familiar with the Manchester United player Marcus Rashford, who was able to effect a policy change by the British government. So free school meals for deprived children were removed during the summer, or were going to be removed during the summer break by the British government. But Marcus Rashford, who was a guy brought up in a one-parent family, he successfully lobbied the government to change its policy. So I'm going to tie all of those three things together and ask a general question, and hopefully Sam will be happy. Hopefully I can acknowledge what Nasser said, and hopefully I get your insights as well. Is what role do you think influencers and role models play in this period? So whether it's Marcus Rashford or an actor or a politician or an Instagram influencer, how important are they during this period, do you think? Michael.
Well, good question. I guess it depends on the location in the area, and I mean, there's some like the football stars. They're going to be pretty globally well known, and people will listen to them. I think some of the social media influencers probably have a different kind of target than many of the populations we work in terms of the most marginalized, the most disadvantaged populations in some of the least in some of the poorest countries in the world. So they're may not, but I think it's part of the solution, I suppose. I mean, it's a bit cliched. I think it takes a village. But it's true. I mean, there's always a bit of truth embedded in cliches. It takes a village. It takes everyone working together, sending consistent messages from a government's leadership to the government's programs and services they put in place. It's about messages, health messages and positive messages going out about the situation and looking at it as an opportunity. It takes communities doing some things for themselves as well. So it really involves everybody, and social influencers obviously have a part to play in that. Again, there's the social media, the influencers. Again, a target population is a little bit different, but certainly the football stars, and then depending on other countries, other sports figures as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, so anybody want to make a final statement about heroes and influencers, icons, about the role they might play in recovering from all of this?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, just from a Generation Amazing perspective, and also from an Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy, we've had, these FIFA legends and some, players that represent are also ambassadors to some of our programs and to Generation Amazing. So, for example, Xavi, we had him on a live session once, also, talking about some of the, some of the challenges that everybody is facing, and giving advice and motivating people and giving them tips to be active and to stay healthy, and also doing a live session where he was playing football and doing some short drills at home. So we've been able to do these sessions with some of the some of our ambassadors like Tim Cahill, Cafu, Samuel Eto'o as well. We've had Qatari legends, Khalid Salman yesterday, and a few other legends from the Qatar Football Association as well. So I think these are, I think the whole pandemic kind of created this opportunity where we can engage with these ambassadors online for youth, I think globally. And otherwise, you know, it's I think it goes back to, you know, again, what Amani was saying is that, you know, doing more with less, and again, leveraging, you know, technology and social media and these platforms to, you know, to have these, amplify these messages and spread these, you know, sessions to people all over the world. As long as you have internet connectivity and access, you can tune in.
Okay.
Simon, can I just add, Nasser's comments, very important, and really made me think more broadly about these large global events. I mean, this is a global pandemic, but these large global sporting events, Olympics, World Cup, and all of the work like Qatar and other countries do in the lead up to them provide tremendous opportunity and visibility at the global level to raise issues about access to education, access to quality education at all levels, in government's responsibility. They've committed to quality education dating back to at least 1990, and then reaffirmed in 2000, and again in 2015 with the Sustainable Development Goals. So issues of health and education and diversity and racism and things like that, they provide a wonderful global forum, because if anything, what this pandemic has said, you know, we're all the same. We're all extremely vulnerable. There's, you know, obviously there's populations, subpopulations that are particularly disproportionately affected, but all of us are affected in one way or another. And these kinds of large sporting events could provide an opportunity to shine the light on these very important issues.
Mm-hmm. Okay, at that point, I think I'm going to just begin to draw things to a close. I've got to go. Mohammed Al-Tamimi, thank you for that comment. I think so. When I moderate webinars, I try to be Zinedine Zidane, but more often I'm more like Roy Keane, than Zinedine Zidane. So thank you for saying that. I mean, if I could just draw everything together, I've just made a few notes as we were speaking. And some of you will have noticed I've also posted some comments posted some links in the sidebar. So hopefully they will have been of some use to some of you listening. There's something about research and data. I think you know, what we don't seem to know is what young people are thinking and feeling right now. And I think that's really, really important that we do. So there is something about research and data. There's something about the effects of the pandemic. And as you pointed out, Leo, this is not going away anytime soon. You know, and no matter what people might think, it's not going away anytime soon. So there's not just the need for research, but probably longitudinal research as well. And as we know, some of the kids who haven't been in school, some of the kids who haven't been able to see their friends, some of the kids who, you know, have been stressed out, they've been suffering trauma, they've lost a relative. There are going to be long-term effects there, and I think there's something there that we need to know about. There is something about strategy and learning, and this goes to your point, Amani, about learning. But moving forwards from here, what do we do, and how do we get out of this, and how do we learn from the mistakes? And I think what is particularly resonant for me out of all of this is whether you're in Qatar or Geneva or, you know, Mozambique or Peru or even here in England, we're going to be expected to do more with less. And I guess that's going to be the mantra for the next 10 years, do more with less. And so that then leads into partnership. And this is one example of a partnership that can work. And my view is we always tend to have this very grand view of partnerships that, you know, somehow we've all got to live with each other and work really closely together and come up with miraculous outcomes. In reality, partnership starts with just talking to each other, and I think this is a great forum for doing that. I guess beyond that, and in terms of what flows beyond that, hopefully what we've been able to do today is to raise all manner of issues from, you know, right from, does that young person have access to a computer? If that person does have an access to a computer, how fast is their internet connection? But then right through to, have they seen their friends? Are they able to go and kick a ball? But then things like, are they sleeping properly? Are they eating properly? You know, when they are in bed at night, what are they thinking about? What are they worrying about? What are they dreaming about? And so whilst we can't obviously answer all of those questions here today, I think hopefully the people who've been here, the people who've participated, listened, people who will watch back again, I really hope that we've been able to provide something. So on that basis, can I say, Amani, Nasser, Michael, Michele, Leo, thank you very, very much for being here. Can I thank Generation Amazing and people like Matthias and the others for organising this. And if you've been listening to this, if you're watching the record back again, thank you for being here as well. So thanks for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Simon.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.